Welcome back to Power Hour. Thank you for joining us today. There is a new bill that's being considered that would criminalize, they say, something that you do on your cell phone every single day. Off the Grid News is reporting a simple text message could lead to 15 days in jail or a $50 fine under a proposed law in New Jersey. Lampett from Camden, Democrat, wants to make it a crime to text and walk at the same time. If a person on the road, whether walking or driving, presents a risk to others on the road, there should be a law in place to dissuade and penalize risky behavior. Distracted pedestrians, like distracted drivers, present a potential danger to themselves and drivers on the road. Yeah, we know that. And as people's behavior changes, so must our policy. The act would make it illegal to talk on the phone and walk at the same time if you are crossing the street. The bill apparently has some support in New Jersey, where 32 pedestrians have been killed by cars so far this year. But so what does that mean? 32 pedestrians have been killed by cars this year so far. Does that mean that they were all texting at the same time? We don't know that, but it's made to look like that. Anyway, texting and walking would be illegal. Okay. Did you know that there was a comet, near-Earth comet object? Anyway, when scientists announced that a near-Earth object will make an uncomfortably close flyby of our planet, we rest knowing that their calculations will be accurate, but a trajectory is predictable sometimes, and sometimes calculations of the size of these objects can be wrong. Anyway, they refer back to the Pan-STARRS telescope at the University of Hawaii that identified a near-Earth comet that sailed past Earth on March 22nd, the third closest comet flyby ever recorded. The object flew within 2.2 million miles, still a bit of a distance away. As it approached, scientists estimated BA-14 was no more than 410 feet wide. But after observing the comet for 3 nights, well, it wasn't just 410 feet wide. It was 3,000 feet in diameter. Despite miscalculating the size just a little bit, that's pretty good for government workers, though. Its trajectory was never in question, and the data showed that it was not going to collide with Earth. Still, the fact that the majority of the comet remained essentially invisible until it was within striking distance raises concerns over the objects lurking in the solar system. And what size are they anyway? Common antibiotics found to cause delirium and other brain disorders. Researchers at Harvard and Brigham and Women's reviewed 7 decades of medical reports, found that on studies on 391 patients who developed delirium and other brain problems after being given antibiotics, the problem appears to have been widespread with 54 kinds of antibiotics. Oh my gosh, from the 12 classes of antibiotics involved. The antibiotics utilized in the patient studies included IV, such as penicillin, and those as well as those that were in oral form, including sulfonamides and ciprofloxacin. The patients varied in neurological reaction. Nearly half, or about 47%, had hallucinations or delusions. Wow. Now that's with antibiotics. 14% reportedly had seizures. 14% is a lot. 15% showed muscle twitching and lost control over their movements. Whoa. Now the question, should Paxil be banned? We'll be back after this 1 minute, 10-second break. Stay tuned.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate, to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Fay.
Every Thursday night at 7 on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050.
Kcaa England Transportation, one of the largest trucking firms in the country, is hiring diesel and trailer mechanics with a $2,000 sign-on bonus, top pay, and benefits for qualified mechanics. To apply, visit www.craengland.com/careers. That's www.craengland.com/careers.
This is 1050 AM, KCAA Loma Linda, and 106.5 FM, Yucaipa.
CNBC Radio. The latest ADP payroll report shows the U.S. economy added 200,000 new private sector jobs this month. That came in exactly as forecast. That report could help March go out like a lion on Wall Street. Stock futures point to an even higher open now. The downside for labor comes from Boeing. The playmaker's cutting 4,500 jobs by midsummer to stay cost competitive with Airbus. Apple's iPhone assembler, Foxconn, is buying Sharp Electronics for $3.5 billion. Atlanta will consider letting Uber and Lyft operate at the city's Hartsfield Airport under certain conditions, like fingerprinting and criminal background checks. The ride-sharing services will appear before the city council today to tell them why they object to that. And if you think there are too many airline fees in this country, passengers just going through airports in Dubai will have to pay an $8 fee. Dubai says it will use that money to beef up the airport's infrastructure. I'm Chuck Kamlick, CNBC Radio.
O'Reilly. The weather's getting warmer, and that means it's time to start working on your yard. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up a Super Start Lawn and Garden Battery starting at $21.99. Springtime means yard work, so stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts for a Super Start Lawn and Garden Battery you can count on. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, Bob, how's business? Is the new website helping?
Not good. I can't figure out how to get the website finished. How did you do it?
Easy. I called Web.com. They built my website for free. Then they promoted it on all the search engines.
Like Google, Yahoo, and Bing?
Exactly. And Web.com has helped grow my business so much, I had to bring on new staff.
Hey, if Web.com did it for you, they're perfect for me.
Call now, 1-800-535-8815. That's 1-800-535-8815. Again, 1-800-535-8815.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard. For this morning, we've got a chance of showers, partly sunny skies, a high near 62. Tonight, a chance of showers, partly cloudy skies, a low near 46. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 71. Thursday night, mostly clear, low near 49. Friday, sunny with a high near 77. Friday night, mostly clear, low near 52. Saturday, sunny with a high near 80. Saturday night, mostly clear, low near 52. Sunday, sunny with a high near 79. Sunday night, mostly clear, low near 52. Monday, sunny with a high near 80. Monday night, mostly clear, low near 53. Tuesday, mostly sunny and a high near 79. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
It's time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. We got a real mess in Corona. The 91 eastbound after Main Street is closed. An injury, this is before the 15, an injury crash has all lanes closed except for the far right lanes. Traffic is jammed from Surface Club. Also in Corona, stop-and-go traffic on the 91 westbound between McKinley Street and Green River Road. The 71 south is busy between Euclid Avenue and the 91. In Ontario, slow traffic on the 60 westbound between Grove Avenue and the 57 Orange Freeway. The 10 west is slow and go from Central to the 57. The 210 west is heavy in patches between the 15 and Foothill. And in the Cone Pass, an off-ramp is closed on the 15 northbound at Kenwood Avenue. That off-ramp is closed until April 9th. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
Here's the latest. I'm Tiffany Griffith. Donald Trump having to defend his Twitter war with Ted Cruz at last night's CNN town hall event in Wisconsin.
You're running for president of the United States.
Excuse me. I didn't start it.
Oh, but I didn't start it. But, sir, with all due respect, that's the argument of a 5-year-old. I didn't start it. No, it's not.
Trump is also defending his campaign manager, who was arrested for allegedly manhandling a female reporter in Florida. Federal investigators are reviewing the contents of an iPhone belonging to one of the San Bernardino shooters after hacking into it, and that could make your device less secure.
ACLU national spokesperson Eliza Swearenbecker says Apple will likely have to remake security features on the iPhone after the FBI's hack.
When the government attempts to weaken security features, that undermines security and safety for everyone.
That's Randy Fuller reporting. And the Pentagon is ordering the families of hundreds of U.S. military members living in Turkey to leave. The State Department says the decision was made out of an abundance of caution after 2 bombings in Turkey this year. You're listening to the latest from 24/7 News.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk,
Good morning. I'm Erin Brinker, and we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. Today is the day of the LEAD Summit at CSUSB, and we're going to be, I'm going to be out there all day, calling in between shows and taking interviews that'll be played later, and it'll be a fun day. This is a big summit, and we on Monday had a special broadcast from 3 to 4 of the On the Mark show, which is Mark Westwood's show, and I joined them with Enrique Murillo, Dr. Enrique Murillo, who is in charge of putting this LEAD Summit together. Their theme this year is brown, black, and indigenous unity, and talking about instead of dividing each other, let's unify each other, which is, I think, a great theme, and they're wonderful speakers. Antonio Villaraigosa is the keynote speaker. Morenga, who is the creator, I've forgotten Dr. Morenga's first name. Forgive me. No, it's just hard to pronounce. Forgive me. He is the creator of Kcaa. He's a professor at CSU Long Beach, and he will be one of the speakers as well. There'll be panels all day long, and it's a summit, so everybody's in the room hearing all the summit issues all at once, and so not people aren't getting different messages.
So last night we went to their kickoff event.
Oh, it was really nice.
It really was.
It was at the new DoubleTree in San Bernardino, which of course is the hospitality, which is used to be the Hilton, and it was
the Hotel
San Bernardino, and all along was supposed to be the DoubleTree. I'm sure, but it's been completely renovated. The staff was really friendly. The food was tasty. It was a nice event.
Yeah, and I love they're around their theme of brown and black unity and indigenous people unity. They had a variety of performers of all different ethnic stripes.
They did, and spoken word,
and it was
and
really
singing.
really well done.
It was. It really was.
Yeah.
It's spoken word is. It can be really powerful.
Yes.
There was one of the spoken word, and I wasn't paying attention to I wasn't paying attention to the artists' names, and forgive me. But one of them was just very yelly, and so it was difficult to understand what she was saying. Others were not, and I thought that was more powerful.
Yeah, and that they had to have practiced this for a long time. I mean, it really, it flows. When they get going, it's like a good song, right? There's a rhythm to it, a pace, and they throw these interesting pauses in to make you think about some of the issues that they raise with their spoken word. I mean, when it's done right, and it was done very well last night.
It was done very well last night. It was done very well last night.
It can be quite moving.
And the singer was amazing. And he talked about performing all over the world. He talked about performing for, he said he got to serenade Michelle Obama, which is pretty darn cool.
And he performed on the Oprah Winfrey Show.
The former Prime Minister of Israel, was it Shimon Peres?
Yes.
That he sang for as well, which was... pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
So I'm jealous because I have to be teaching middle school all day, and you get to be.
But you have a fun job.
I do, but you get to be at the exciting LEAD conference out at Cal State San Bernardino.
Yes.
And you went last year too, didn't you?
No, last year they were in San Antonio.
Okay.
But the 3 years before that, KCAA, KCAA has been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
The 3 years before that, I was part of, may have been 4. We were there broadcasting from the floor.
Yeah.
Now I usually would go in because back in the day, the show that I was on ran from 9 to 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And so I would come out for that show. And then usually the nonprofit that I was working for would be out in the exhibitors floor. And so I'd be there at the event, but wearing two different hats and doing two different things. And so this year I'm the person at the table, and we're going to be broadcasting from the summit floor. So we'll be in the same room, and it should be really fun. Should be good.
Well, and I know in years past you've always had a lot of interesting interviews. It just brings out a diverse group of people who want to talk about a variety of important issues. And I just remember you coming home and being kind of excited about the various people who you spoke to, and who you were able to get on air. And so I'm excited for you today. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun.
It will be a lot of fun. So I got to say good morning to Brandon McCormick. How you doing, Brandon?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm seeing pinwheel flowers in the engineer's part of the booth. What are those for?
So that's our spring decoration.
Oh, it's very festive.
Spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung. We had nice spring showers last night. Actually, it rained pretty hard. I think they got snow in the mountains, too.
I don't know if you saw this on your Facebook feed, but friends going crazy all over the IE, right? With the rain and then the hail, and then I guess there was a lightning strike in Fontana that took out some power, and people were just going crazy with their posts. It was pretty funny.
That is funny. We get so little weather here that when we get weather, it's exciting.
Yes, it is.
So, a big story for San Bernardino as the bankruptcy continues to roll forward. The San Bernardino settlement now, pension obligation bondholders are to get 40%.
Yeah, this headline shocked me because in their negotiations, they said they were going to only give the bondholders 1%.
1%.
And this was like one of those major fights, right? We watched it in the media back and forth as they were arguing about who was going to take the biggest haircut in this bankruptcy. And everyone thought the bondholders really were going to just get 1%. So the fact that they've actually settled at 40% seems like a big, big change.
Well, how does that suss out? How do those numbers work? To go from 1%, and which is what they put in their plan of adjustment, to 40%.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, I could read the whole article to you, but I'll give you the basics of it. Basically, with 40%, it basically still saves the city about $45 million. And the way they've timed it is that starting 1 year after they actually exit bankruptcy, so assuming that's this year, the following year they'll begin a 30-year repayment plan. So it's essentially a restructuring. And by the way they've restructured it, so they are going to pay them 40%, but it'll be over 30 years. It actually allows them to maintain an additional $2 million a year that they would have probably had to pay otherwise. That money would go to public safety, and that's deeper down in the article, and they talk about how that's sort of a win for the city, and it's a win honestly for the bondholders too, because before they essentially were getting nothing, right? I mean 1%.
Yeah, 40%'s far cry better than 1%.
That's a penny for every dollar.
Right. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the good news is it ends the litigation, right? The lawyers have been fighting back and forth. And when this thing's all said and done, I'm going to be looking very closely to see how much did the city actually spend on all the lawyers. Like, I know that one of the other cities that went through bankruptcy, the first one, Vallejo, I believe they spent, like $12 to $15 million just on lawyers, and they weren't in bankruptcy even half as long as San Bernardino was. San Bernardino's dragged this thing out. So how much have they spent on lawyers over the 3-4 years?
We are in July. It'll be 4 years.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfathomable.
Yeah. So, if we ended up spending $20 or $30 million on lawyers, I don't know that I would be shocked, but you'd have to ask, wow, what other things could that money have been used for? So just the fact that they get the lawyers done, right? We're not arguing with lawyers anymore.
Saves money.
Saves money.
Now, the pension obligation bonds, have fallen out of favor in general, but they were pretty trendy for a while. Are we going to see other cities then try to renegotiate their debt with these bondholders?
Well, they can't unless they go into bankruptcy like San Bernardino does, and the costs of going to bankruptcy, as we just said, are phenomenal.
Right.
So I don't know that people will be doing that because it's not really a cost-saving measure. I will say that when they came to San Bernardino with the pension obligation bonds, and this happened a year before I actually entered or was on the council, but I went back and read through all the minutes, and it appeared to me that there was a kind of collusion that was occurring between CalPERS and these pension bond companies, that they came together hand in hand to the city and had meetings with council people and the mayor to sell them on this idea that this, because prior to this, the city had been not super funded at this point, but their pensions had been, doing pretty well, and they sold them on a way. This is a way to put some money in your pocket today to deal with today's issues, blah, 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 and really undersold the risks associated with this and the actual costs that were associated with this. And so when the city did it, they were basically said, "Oh, we're going to get $1 million more a year in your pocket." Well, when they actually signed the paperwork, instead of $1 million a year, it was $250,000 a year.
That's a little different.
And then the very next year, the city went back and changed some of their contracts with some of their unions about pensions and so forth, which completely wiped out all that savings. And before you knew it, when the economy crashed, the city was way upside down, and they owed a lot more on the pension bonds. They owed a lot more directly to CalPERS, and they were in a much worse situation than they would have been. I mean, really, nobody seemed to have thought this through. They were only looking at the rosy side of the story. Oh, we're going to put $1 million a year into our general fund if we do this. And the reality was it was the opposite.
It was just bad from the start. The thing about it is it's like when you refinance your debt. So you've taken money out of your house and you've paid off your high interest credit cards. That only works if you then cut those credit cards up.
Yeah.
If you then can go out and charge those credit cards up again, you've just made your life worse.
And that's the perfect analogy, because that's exactly what happened in the city. It's exactly what happened. I mean, the very next year, right before I got on the council, they boosted up the benefits for the police and fire. And then my first year on the council, and I actually participated in this, we voted to boost up the benefits for all the rest of the employees.
So that you have parity.
For parity with pensions. I mean, we're talking about pensions, so they just charged it all up again,
So, well, I'm glad that they've reached this settlement. They really seem to be moving in towards exiting bankruptcy. I mean, every step has been it's been moving us towards that goal. And for after 3 years of stalling, it's nice that we're making some progress.
Yeah.
Especially if you drive through the streets of San Bernardino, there are Volkswagen Beetle-sized potholes.
Yes.
That are all over the city.
I hit one the other day, and my teeth shook. I mean, it was just like, it was bone rattling.
Yes.
I was like, oh no, what happened?
Well, and saying that in your truck, that says something.
Yeah.
I worry that, some of these are bigger than my tires, and I'm not, bigger than my tires are wide where they hit the ground, and that's a little scary.
So I'll be excited, and I know we're out of time for this segment, but I'll be excited when we get to the summer if we finally actually get through with this, the outsourcing of the fire department. There's one last little hurdle there. These people are trying to get signatures to overturn that. If that goes through, I think we'll exit bankruptcy this summer.
Oh my gosh, that would be great. That would be wonderful. Well, and here's another thing that's coming. San Bernardino City Unified, for the first time ever, has all of their students off at the same time. They have had a lot of schools that are on year-round, and so they would stagger when kids are off. And so, and at any one time, 25% of each school was gone, but that meant 75% were there.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be the first summer where everybody's on a modified traditional schedule. Those kids are going to be off.
Yeah.
And there's nothing for them to do.
Yeah.
And so I worry a little bit about public safety this summer. I worry about what kids are going to be up to this summer. And so it'll be an interesting summer to watch.
Yeah.
So at 6:17, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show, and we'll be right back.
For more local radio every day, tune into KCAA Loma Linda. This year's San Bernardino County State of the County is being held April 6th at the Citizens Business Bank Arena in Ontario. It'll be a business forum focusing on making an impact. You're invited to join more than 1,000 business professionals and government leaders to hear about public-private collaboration, government leadership, and ways businesses can tap into economic investment and growth opportunities in the region. This year's event also includes great networking opportunities and a business leaders roundtable. Starts at 4:30 p.m. For information and tickets, go to SBCountyAdvantage.com.
Get ready. The Redlands Bicycle Classic takes place April 6th through the 10th, 2016. Since 1985, this event has developed into the longest continuous running bicycle invitational. From downtown Redlands to Yucaipa, Highland, and beyond, there will be all kinds of games, food, and fun. The Redlands Classic is looking for volunteer marshals this year. You can lend a hand, help out, get a tan, and have fun the whole weekend long at one of the area's best events. For more info, go to redlandsclassic.com. That's redlandsclassic.com. Right in the middle of Redlands is a special place. called the Tennessee Gardens, where great memories and romance abound. Under fragrant magnolia trees, aside seasonal flowers, and next to its whimsical ponds, brides and grooms begin their lives together and events are celebrated. With over 25 years' experience, its award-winning professional staff, led by executive chef Michelle, owner of Michelle's Bakery, create mouth-watering cakes and events. Celebrate your special event with people who care at the spectacular Tennessee Gardens, conveniently located right in the middle of Redlands. Make a no-obligation appointment to find out more about Tennessee Gardens. Call 909-793-5311. That's 909-793-5311. Or visit mybrideandgroom.com. Don't forget to ask about their bridal and events show on Sunday, April 10th at Tennessee Gardens.
Get inspired by industry pros, including Doug Clark from Spike TV's Flip Men. Connect with leaders and property wholesalers on site. Tickets for Think Realty Expo April 23rd are just $125. Save 20% when you register today at thinkrealtyexpo.com and enter promo code KCAA. That's thinkrealtyexpo.com and discount promo code KCAA. Space is limited, so don't delay. Code KCAA. thinkrealtyexpo.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Enrique Murillo, and the campus at Cal State San Bernardino and numerous town hall viewing sites across the nation, one near you, are pleased to host the LEAD Summit. Education is the economic imperative of our time and the civil rights issue of our generation, and Latino students disproportionately bear the crux of the educational crisis. So are you ready to make a difference? Are you ready to connect with and be part of educational leadership? Are you ready to find cross-sectional solutions to improve the education and lives of all students? Then raise your hand, step in, and get involved. Please join us on Wednesday, March 30th for our 7th annual observance of Latino Education and Advocacy Days as we convene those sharing a common interest and commitment to educational issues that impact Latinos. Please bring a new or gently used children's book in English or Spanish to the KCAA booth, and we will give them to the Inland Empire Children's Book Project. For more information, please visit leadsummit.csusb.edu.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
I'm just a little bit caught in the middle. Life is a maze and love is a riddle. I don't know where to go.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show here on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. There is a travel warning that I find particularly sad.
Yeah.
The state of Israel and the United States have raised a travel warning urging citizens to leave Turkey as soon as possible. And of course, Turkey is really the gateway between Europe and the East, and so the Middle East, but also Asia, and it
straddles two continents.
It straddles two continents. So Israel issued a travel advisory on Monday, urging its citizens to leave Turkey as soon as possible. This is the second warning to be issued by the Counterterrorism Bureau in the Prime Minister's office in the past week. The office said that a recent security assessment prompted the Counterterrorism Bureau to raise the travel advisory from a level 3, that's a basic concrete level, to a level 2, which signifies a high concrete threat. The travel warning comes days after the Turkish government issued an alert for attacks against Jewish and Christian targets in the country. And of course, our own State Department warns U.S. citizens of increased threats from terrorist groups throughout Turkey, and especially to avoid travel to southeastern Turkey. And that was effective March 29th, so that was yesterday. This Department of State, and this is from the State Department's website, the Department of State ordered a departure of family members of the U.S. government personnel posted in the consulate in Adana and family members of U.S. government civilians in Izmir and Mugla provinces, and restricted travel to Turkey to mission-critical travel only. U.S. consulate in Adana remains open and will provide all routine consular services. This travel warning replaces the warning dated March 17th.
Yeah, it is scary. I actually have a Facebook friend and a Rialto Unified School District coworker who's in Turkey right now. She had delayed her honeymoon last year because of an illness of a family member, and is now there with her new husband, and actually described when I think one of the bombings went off last week, being nearby.
Oh, that's
and,
terrifying.
And what that meant, and had some very solemn thoughts on that. And of course, Turkey is this beautiful historical place and has lots of great landmarks and things to see. We've had many friends who've gone there and had wonderful trips, but to be there in a time of unrest when they're particularly targeting, as we've seen, Jewish people and American people and Christians, wow, it's a little bit scary. And so, prayers go out to all the folks that are there and hope they're able to make it back safely.
Foreign and U.S. tourists have been explicitly targeted by international indigenous terrorist organizations. U.S. citizens are reminded to review personal security plans and remain vigilant at all times. U.S. government personnel in Turkey remain subject to travel restrictions in southeastern provinces of Hatay, Kilis. I'm going to pronounce these wrong, so please forgive me. You'll have to check out the State Department website.
Yeah.
But it's very sad. And several of when I posted this on my Facebook page, several friends came up and said, we went to Turkey in 2013. We went to Turkey, we were there last year. It's so beautiful. The people were wonderful. And this is so sad.
Yeah. We've got some Rotarian friends that have gone numerous times. And have nothing but good things to say. And the pictures they've posted
are breathtaking.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want to go there? It's beautiful.
The architecture.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the food. Oh, my God.
And the beaches.
Food, the beaches.
Mediterranean, beautiful beaches. I mean, just gorgeous.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Especially as the busy summer travel season winds up. That's our daughter's going to spend next year in Spain, so I'm a little nervous. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Which is not far from Turkey.
Yeah.
Nothing in Europe is very far from each other.
Well, sadly, and I hate to say it like this, but there seems like there's no place on the planet where you're 100% safe from terrorism. These folks are attacked. I mean, San Bernardino, Aaron.
San Bernardino.
Who would have thought San Bernardino was going to be a target for terrorists? And yet, a major terrorist attack on American soil occurred here.
I know. It's. I know. So, moving right along, back closer to home. So, there's homeless in San Bernardino County. There are fewer of them, but they're more visible than they have been in the past. For the last year, Michael Wilson and her 36-year-old daughter, Satina Sharon Garrett, have called Seacom Lake Park home. They sleep in an orange dome tent. They periodically move from one location of the park to another. After being forced out of a Sierra Way apartment complex following a lease dispute with new managers, Wilson and her daughter found themselves on the street. Then at Seacom Lake Park after they couldn't find shelter anywhere else, including the Salvation Army. It's beyond a problem. It's horrific the measures you have to go through to get help, Wilson said, who's 55, sitting on the steps of the park's gazebo on a recent morning, taking deep drags from a menthol cigarette, her orange tent stationed under the gazebo where her daughter was bundled up inside. Salvation Army is full. You have to call every day by 4 p.m. to check if beds are available. It's always full. There's really nothing here in San Bernardino to be housed in. To get an idea of how bad the homeless problem has become, despite recent count that says the population is shrinking, one need only drop by the park on any given day to see the tents erected along the perimeter of the lake and clustered around the San Bernardino Homeless Access Center. Most of the homeless setting up camp here are coming for the services and amenities provided at the homeless center: a shower, a hot cup of coffee, and a donut in the morning to charge their cell phones, and maybe, if they're lucky, a voucher to stay at a motel for a day or two. The real lucky ones are placed in houses by sympathetic and benevolent property owners and landlords.
Yeah, this is a very, very serious problem, and you have to think about what must have happened for these folks to end up in this location, right? That they've had problems with jobs and they don't have income, that they've exhausted friends and family who may have been able to help them, that social organizations that like churches and things like that they must have gone to before they actually end up out on the street living in a tent in a park.
And a lot of them have mental illness, have substance abuse, or are duly diagnosed. And so that leaves them outside.
So that I love to run around on the Santa Ana River Trail.
Yes.
And there's some trees, especially once you get over to the Riverside section. The Santa Ana River kind of widens out, and there's actually a good water flow through there, and it looks like a little river. And there are a whole bunch of tents, a major encampment down there. And the other day when I was running, they had set it up, and it literally looks like they're camping on the beach with the little river coming right by. And while it may look nice, you get a big rainstorm coming through, And all of a sudden, those folks that are camping on the beach are watching their tents go flowing down the Santa Ana River because they're literally camping down in the low point, right next to the water.
They're camping in a riverbed.
Yeah. But this is what the homeless people do, and they try to create an environment that's as nice as possible. And like I said, as I went running by, it kind of had that nice look to it. But then when you realize that they don't have bathrooms, they don't have, the basic amenities, and that all it takes is one little storm, and all their stuff could get washed away.
The city needs to make, and I think they are, and the county is trying to make homelessness, the issue, a priority.
Yeah.
And I know that they brought in Larry Haynes, who is the executive director of Mercy House, which is a Santa Ana-based nonprofit that runs the San Bernardino Homeless Access Center. And he is an expert in dealing with homelessness, and has done it in Ontario, has done it obviously in Santa Ana and surrounding communities, and is here in San Bernardino. It's a staggering number of people to take off the streets, according to Haynes, adding that the cost to house the homeless in San Bernardino is about $1,100 per person per month, roughly half the national average. Additionally, the homeless center has provided emergency lodging to more than 850 people. What we've been able to accomplish in San Bernardino is a minor miracle, Haynes said. The homeless issue has become a top priority at the local, state, and federal levels. Last month, President Obama proposed spending $11 billion over the next 10 years to fight family homelessness. After touring Los Angeles Skid Row last Friday, Representative Maxine Waters announced legislation that would direct $13.27 billion over 5 years towards housing and services for the homeless. Designed as an emergency relief bill, that money would target areas where homelessness has reached critical proportions, and that would include San Bernardino. So this is Ryan Hagan wrote this article. No, I take that back. It's Joe Nelson. It's in the San Bernardino Sun.
Yeah.
So I would check that out because it's an issue that affects all of us here in the city and in the region.
Yeah. No, it's an important issue, and I'm glad that they're tackling it. I think that the fact that they're focusing on veterans first is
because there's money to find them housing and services.
There is, and that's an easy sell. That's a good starting point.
It is indeed.
Problem goes deeper than that, but that's a good starting point.
So it is 6:30. It's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on Kcaa AM 1050 and FM 106.5. When we get back, we'll be talking with Sherry Hunke from Children's Fund. So we'll be right back.
For more local radio every day, listen to KCAA.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard. For this morning, we've got a chance of showers, partly sunny skies, a high near 62. Tonight, a chance of showers, partly cloudy skies, a low near 46. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 71. Thursday night, mostly clear, low near 49. Friday, sunny with a high near 77. Friday night, mostly clear, low near 52. Saturday, sunny with a high near 80. Saturday night, mostly clear, low near 52. Sunday, sunny with a high near 79. Sunday night, mostly clear, low near 52. Monday, sunny with a high near 80. Monday night, mostly clear, low near 53. Tuesday, mostly sunny and a high near 79. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
It's time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona, we still got a mess. An accident. There's 3 lanes blocked on the 91 eastbound after Main Street. An injury crash has the carpool and 2 left lanes blocked. Traffic is jammed from the 71. In Chino, stop-and-go traffic on the 60 westbound between Central Avenue and the 57 Orange Freeway. The 10 west is slow and go from Etiwanda to Haven. The 210 west is heavy in patches between Mountain Avenue and Foothill Boulevard. In Corona, stop-and-go traffic on the 91 westbound between McKinley Street and Green River Road. The 91 east is jammed from the 71 to the 15. The 71 south is busy between Pine Avenue and the 91. And finally, in Moreno Valley, we have slow traffic on the 215 northbound between Alessandro and Blaine Street. The 60 west is busy between Heacock and the 215. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
Here's the latest. I'm Tiffany Griffith. Donald Trump having to defend his Twitter war with Ted Cruz at last night's CNN town hall event in Wisconsin.
You're running for president of the United States.
Excuse me. I didn't start it.
I didn't start it. But, sir, with all due respect, that's the argument of a 5-year-old. I didn't start it. No, it's not.
Trump is also defending his campaign manager who was arrested for allegedly manhandling a female reporter in Florida. Federal investigators are reviewing the contents of an iPhone belonging to one of the San Bernardino shooters after hacking into it, and that could make your device less secure.
ACLU national spokesperson Eliza Swearenbecker says Apple will likely have to remake security features on the iPhone after the FBI's hack.
When the government attempts to weaken security features that undermine security and safety for everyone.
That's Randy Fuller reporting. And the Pentagon is ordering the families of hundreds of U.S. military members living in Turkey to leave. The State Department says the decision was made out of an abundance of caution after 2 bombings in Turkey this year. You're listening to the latest from 24/7 News. President Obama is highlighting the severity of drug addiction in this country.
We are seeing more people killed because of opioid overdose than traffic accidents.
The president spoke at a drug abuse summit Tuesday in Atlanta. He announced new initiatives to treat people who abuse heroin and prescription drugs. The measures include millions of dollars in grants to help states expand medication-assisted treatment. A federal judge says Hillary Clinton's private email server as Secretary of State was extraordinary. Judge Royce Lamberth also says there's evidence of government wrongdoing and bad faith. Lamberth is allowing a group suing for State Department records to go after sworn testimony from government officials. And many Americans still don't know about the Zika virus. A study from the Harvard School of Public Health found that about a quarter of Americans do not know that the Zika virus can cause babies to be born with small heads. Another 20% of people polled believe that there's a vaccine for the mosquito-borne illness when there's actually not. I'm Tiffany Griffith.
Right in the middle of Redlands is a special place called the Tennessee Gardens, where great memories and romance abound. Under fragrant magnolia trees, aside seasonal flowers, and next to its whimsical ponds, brides and grooms begin their lives together and events are celebrated. With over 25 years' experience, its award-winning professional staff, led by executive chef Michelle, owner of Michelle's Bakery, create mouth-watering cakes and events. Celebrate your special event with people who care at the spectacular Tennessee Gardens, conveniently located right in the middle of Redlands. Make a no-obligation appointment to find out more about Tennessee Gardens. Call 909-793-5311. That's 909-793-5311. Or visit mybrideandgroom.com. Don't forget to ask about their bridal and events show on Sunday, April 10th at Tennessee Gardens.
Inland Body and Paint is a family-owned and operated fleet collision and repair shop that's proud to live in and help our community. Bring your heavy-duty trucks and or equipment to their Fleet Collision and Paint Center in Fontana for expert collision repair services. With 35 years of experience, you're sure to receive quality workmanship at an excellent price from Inland Body and Paint Center. From fiberglass repairs to quality painting, they'll take care of your truck and equipment from top to bottom in their new 64-foot spray booth. By the way, Inland Body and Paint of Fontana repaired and repainted the Kcaa truck, and they can do the same job for your car, truck, or heavy-duty equipment. Inland Body and Paint, dedicated to the community and to your satisfaction. Call them today to learn what they can do for you. You can find Inland Body and Paint on Valencia in Fontana. Call them at 909-434-0466 or online at inlandbodyandpaint.com.
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California, we are KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show here on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. So excited to welcome back to the show Sherry Hunke. She's the Director of Communications at Children's Fund. Big fan of Children's Fund here on the show. They do incredible work serving foster children and children at risk of finding themselves in foster care. So Sherry, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
So what is new? What have you been up to since we last spoke?
Oh, my goodness, so many wonderful things. We've been busy making sure children have what they need to be successful. We recently completed a lunch pail drive that I think I spoke about on your show a couple months ago. We collected lunch pails for children and family services A total of 540 lunch pails were provided, including all the snacks that go in each one, and that's about 2,500 snacks.
Wow.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to provide that for them.
I'm already hungry.
Well, that's because you haven't had breakfast this morning.
And then also the Foundation for Sleep Train, the mattress store, just provided us with over $4,000 worth of goods that they collected in their stores, and we combined those with toys that we got from Toys R Us and books from Molina Foundation, and we just made 13 huge donations to local family resource agencies, and those donations included toys, books, clothing, and shoes that they could pass out to the children and family that they serve.
Wow, that's awesome.
That is awesome. I have to ask, not to put you on the spot, was Santa Claus Incorporated one of those agencies?
You know, I don't believe so, not this time.
Not this
we
time.
work with about 45 different agencies.
Wow.
And so we sort of rotate the donations as we get the goods.
Wow. So I know Children's Fund does a lot for foster youth in our county. Anything interesting lately?
Yes, we have some really good things coming up for the foster kids. The first one is called Prom Extravaganza.
Oh,
and
cool.
All the foster youth and the youth in the kinship program, which means that instead of going into foster care, a relative or kin is taking care of the children. All these seniors in high school attend an event a couple weeks before prom where they receive hair and makeup tips and etiquette lessons like which fork do you use when you go to the fancy restaurant before prom. There's an inspirational speaker at the event, and each child leaves with a gift card so that they can purchase their formal gown or their suit or rent a tux.
That is fabulous.
Oh, that is fabulous.
It is. You know, I believe that prom is really a milestone in a young person's life, and Children's Fund, doesn't want a child to go without just because of finances. So we're happy to help with that. Prom Extravaganza.
The teaching kids those soft skills too of how to use the right fork and the basic etiquette. It's so important, and it's not just foster kids. I think there's just a lot of kids out there who don't really have someone in their life that kind of helps them with that stuff, and then they find themselves kind of making little social faux pas and being embarrassed or whatever. So I just think that piece too is just beautiful. Thank you.
Good for everybody, right?
Yep. So anything else for seniors?
There is another event that we're helping with. It's called the Senior Celebration. It's coming up in April, and it's a formal dinner for all of the county's youth who are seniors in high school and are in the foster care system. And this dinner honors their accomplishment of graduating high school. It's a really wonderful dinner. Children's Fund awards scholarships to the youth that are attending college in the fall. In addition to that, we're also giving over a dozen youth a Shine a Light scholarship, which is a competitive scholarship, and it's awarded at the Children's Network Shine a Light breakfast that's happening on April 7th at the Orange Show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's terrific.
They deserve it.
Yes,
they do. And I understand things have changed recently, but I know that in the past, kids would age out of the foster care system and then they were just on their own. 18 years old, bye-bye, see you later, and they're out of their foster home, which is pretty jarring. I mean, an 18-year-old is not ready necessarily to take on the world.
Very true. Sadly, that was true. Our county is very progressive, and I understand has implemented a couple more years of aid to help them in the transition to being independent. So I commend our county for that.
So is there anything else coming up?
I'm sure you have heard about this, but April is Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month. And many agencies in the county have joined us to coordinate an event at the 66ers baseball field again this year. It's called the Children Are Our Future event. And it includes lots of fun things like an art contest, a resource fair, live entertainment by a wonderful group called San Bernardino Teen Music Workshop, and also a parade against child abuse where the kids march around the baseball field led by the mascot, Bernie.
Yeah.
And
Bernie's
then
fun.
we have an art, it's a lot of fun. And then we have an art gallery which we display all the art that was submitted to us in the art contest.
That's fantastic. Actually, we've gone out there many times for this event because it's really a fun event.
Yeah.
A great day at the ballpark. It's great to see all the kids out there, and of course, you get to watch the baseball game too.
Absolutely. It's on Tuesday, April 19th All the fun starts at 6 p.m., and we encourage everybody to come out. It's, a fun and safe and inexpensive way to spend an evening with the family. So hope to see you and Toby there.
You know what? I think we will put it on our calendar. So where can our listeners learn more about these events or perhaps support Children's Fund?
Most of the information about Children's Fund can be found on our website at childrensfundonline.org. And if you would like to support the work that we do or learn more about what we're doing, you can just log on to our website.
Awesome. And how do they reach you in particular? Do you have a direct line, or do they just go to the website to find that?
You can just go to the website, and all of our information is there. And you can call the office, or you can send us a message through the website.
Wonderful. So, Sherry Hunke, thank you so much for joining us today. It was it's always a treat to have you on the show, and so we'll talk to you this same time next month, and we'll see you on April 19th.
Fantastic. I look forward to it. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. So we've been talking with Sherry Hunke. She is the Director of Communications from Children's Fund, which is an absolutely wonderful organization serving young people throughout our county. And it's important to note Children's Fund was founded by some real leaders in our community, former mayor and then judge Patrick Morris, the former CEO of Stater Brothers,
Jack Brown.
Holy smokes, Jack Brown. And they came together and they really wanted to make a difference to safety net for these kids. And it's just absolutely a wonderful organization. So at 6:44, we'll go ahead and take a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show, and we'll be right back.
Listen to KCAA Loma Linda for less confrontation and more information.
Hi, this is Steve Aladort from Rancho Financial with the Mortgage Minute. With property values increasing, this might be the perfect time to do a loan checkup to see if it makes sense to refinance. Do you have an equity line? If your equity line is getting close to 10 years old, your payment is about to fully amortize. Coupled with the certainty that the feds will soon increase short-term rates, there might be a substantial jump in payment on your line of credit. If we combine your current loan, equity line, and possibly even some of your credit debt, there could be a substantial reduction in what you have to pay each month. Do you have VA eligibility? VA will allow 100% cash-out financing. This may be a perfect time to use your eligibility. We can go 85% cash out with FHA or 80% with a standard conventional loan. There are many possible options that could make a huge difference in your monthly payments. That's why you need a loan financial planner to provide you with all of your possible options. Give me a call, Steve Aladort, at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070, or go to loanfinancialplanner.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Enrique Murillo, and the campus at Cal State San Bernardino and numerous town hall viewing sites across the nation, one near you, are pleased to host the LEAD Summit. Education is the economic imperative of our time and the civil rights issue of our generation, and Latino students disproportionately bear the crux of the educational crisis. So are you ready to make a difference? Are you ready to connect with and be part of educational leadership? Are you ready to find cross-sectional solutions to improve the education and lives of all students? Then raise your hand, step in, and get involved. Please join us on Wednesday, March 30th for our 7th annual observance of Latino Education and Advocacy Days as we convene those sharing a common interest and commitment to educational issues that impact Latinos. Please bring a new or gently used children's book in English or Spanish to the Kcaa booth, and we will give them to the Inland Empire Children's Book Project. For more information, please visit leadsummit.csusb.edu.
Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company has been serving the greater Inland Empire for over 60 years. For all of your printing needs, from full-color printing to high-speed copying and everything in between, go to Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company. Their staff is committed to your total satisfaction. Great service isn't just lip service at Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company. It's the way they do business year after year. Having trouble finding drafting supplies? Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company still carries a complete selection. Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company is rated high in customer satisfaction by Value Star, an independent rating company. For all of your personal or business printing, call Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company at 909-792-3478. That's 792-3478, or visit them on New York Street in Redlands off the I-10 and the Crosstown Freeway.
Thank you, Inland Empire, for listening to KCAA Radio.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We have on the line Barbara Babcock. She's calling in to tell us about Children's Fund story and also about an event that she attended last night. Welcome to the show, Barbara.
Good morning, Erin and Tobin.
Good morning.
I just want to tell you, at times I get so discouraged, but I see what good things like Children's Fund is doing. 10 years ago, I'm getting emotional. Little Anthony Ramirez was murdered at Martin Luther King.
Yep.
10 years ago, 2 years after he was murdered, I ran into his mother at a function. We were honoring her, and I said, Michelle, you don't look happy. Are you okay? And she said, Barbara, she says, my water's been turned off. There's no presents for Christmas. I was thinking she needed presents for Christmas. In 26 hours, Children's Fund had toys, had water, had a place for them to live. And I just want to give a shout-out to Kent Paxton, because this city can come together when we need to.
Indeed.
And my big prayer is that December 2 will be a turning point. And it could be a huge turning point in the city, or it could be nothing. But we need to come together. Last night, I was with about 70 people from San Bernardino with the African American Advisory for the police department. And these people were on fire to make a difference. We have the whole world saying, San Bernardino, what can we do to help you? Sometimes my frustration is we don't even know what to ask for.
Yeah.
I am so thankful that Stater Brothers has given $50,000 to PD. Frankly, we should be hiring people or getting people to go out and get millions for this city. We can make a difference, but it's up to each one of us.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, we really appreciate you calling and sharing that story. We're a big fan of Children's Fund here on this show and at the station. They're a regular guest on our show, and obviously we want to know about wonderful things going on in the community. So thank you so much for calling us today.
And you will be hearing more. I'm involved. I'm vice chair of the San Bernardino Fine Arts Commission. We have money, one of the few commissions that does. We're doing a huge event in May. There's so many things happening, and I do hope that you guys will cover this week. One thing that I heard last night loud and clear, people are not happy over the Sabita ruling. And I think we're going to be seeing our faith community and our politicians and our people coming together in the next few days. So I will give you some names to talk to, because you know what, the county doesn't care about the city of San Bernardino like the city does. Not saying Sabita is perfect. God knows we can all improve, but maybe we need to look at revisiting this issue. And I think you're going to be hearing things in the next week. And this issue is not settled. We have to fight for everything that we get in this city. And I just want to thank you, Tobin, for your years of service. Erin, you and I have worked together on many projects over the years. We can make a difference. We've got a phenomenal police chief. I've been real supportive of Mayor Davis until he vetoed this thing last week. But I just think that we need to relook at this city, and we need to fight for everything that we can get, because nobody's handing us anything. But thank you for your radio show, and we are going to just keep pressing forward. Some great things coming up in April and May. I'll put you in touch. That's what I love to do.
Thank you, Barbara.
But thank you for your voice in the Inland Empire, and particularly San Bernardino.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And if you're around Cal State San Bernardino, head on out to the LEAD Summit that's going on today. Parking's free. The event is free. It'll be a really great day.
Seeing me.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye. So, I'm glad that she called in and talked about the events that are the event that she went to last night, and we all need to make each other aware, and we try to do that here on the show, talking about local things. I mean, we really, this is some of the shows on this station are national. We really are focused on the local area.
Well, and interestingly, on any given day, there are probably a half dozen or more events going on around the city with different organizations that have real impact on what's on how our community thrives or doesn't thrive. And last night we were at this kickoff for the LEAD Summit, and Barbara was at this African American advisory committee with the police department. And both very important events. And I'm glad that she was able to call in and share what they're doing. And she's right. Since December 2nd attack, the focus has been on our city. There's an opportunity there for us to really maximize a variety of other resources, statewide, national, because we've got this attention. And I don't know that we know, like she said, what to ask for or who to ask. And we need to be more thoughtful about this, and we need to strike while the irons are hot.
While the irons are hot, exactly. So I want to talk a little bit about the victory that the unions have now from the Supreme Court in the Rebecca Friedrichs case here in the last few minutes of the show.
Yeah, it's not so much a victory as it is a stay of execution, right? With the death of Antonin Scalia, the court was equally divided, and so they had a ruling of a 4-4 ruling on the I'm just going to blank on the name of the case.
Friedrichs
case. Thank you. God, just jumped right out of my mind. On the Friedrichs case, and this is the case that would have essentially gotten rid of the ability for unions to take money straight out of teachers' paychecks. Right? That they would have you could basically completely opt out of the union and not have to pay anything. And so the unions, of course, were scared to death that this was going to go through. And if Scalia was there, it might have passed on a 5-4 vote. And so now, because in the lower courts, they had won at the lower courts before it made it up to the Supreme Court, with a 4-4 tie, the lower court ruling holds. And so the unions maintain their status quo. This does not set any precedent. And as soon as there is a ninth justice on the Supreme Court, the case will be taken up again. And this is one of the reasons that this presidential election is so meaningful, because the chances are that we won't get a new Supreme Court justice until after the election.
Well, and we have an aging Supreme Court,
yes.
And so it's very likely that in the next few years you'll see several of them
yes.
retire.
Yes.
Because they're getting up there in age.
Yes, and so this is really an important time, and we'll find out what happens. Now, in terms of the Friedrichs case, there's a real interesting argument here, and the argument that's being made is that forcing teachers to pay even for things like negotiations, which is about your salary and working conditions and things like that, is inherently political, and you can't force people to pay for political speech. It always has to be voluntary, and I think that there's a really interesting argument here. And we've talked about. We actually had some teachers call in and kind of debated it here on the show. And I'm a conservative teacher, and I'm a union member, and I've never opted out of my union, but I do get frustrated sometimes with some of the positions that they take. Not typically the positions they take in negotiations, but I could understand why some people would, right? And you can get a raise for the teachers, but that might mean that there's less money for other things
right.
that the school wants to do.
So the teachers get a raise, but you have to buy all your own supplies for your students. So
you can't go on field trips, or some program that you really like gets cut. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so and I also know teachers where they live in the district that they teach in, and so the decision to get more pay for the teachers may actually mean that your kid gets less in the school, and so it's complicated. And so I can understand why some teachers want to fully opt out of their union.
So right now, opting out is not really opting out. You still owe the money. You just don't get the benefits.
Exactly.
Which doesn't make any sense. Why would somebody do that? Except for being really strongly convicted that it was the right thing to do, and you do it on principle. Why else would you do it?
Exactly. And so, this is an interesting case, and it'll be interesting when we get a new judge on the court and to see it come back. But the unions are definitely a big sigh of relief. I think many of them had kind of resigned themselves to the fact before Scalia's death that they were going to lose this case, and I hate to say it, but some of them were just downright gleeful when he died, and I found that behavior.
That's despicable.
Yeah, I found that behavior very despicable. But they, some of the posts were, pretty rotten.
So in the last 2 minutes of the show, a cruise company charges a man extra because his wife died. They called it an $853 rebooking fee.
That's got to be criminal.
Right? In December, a Colorado resident, Tom Ast, lost his wife of 45 years, Marilyn, to cancer. On her deathbed, Marilyn told Ast to go on the Mediterranean cruise they'd planned before she became sick. He didn't want to go at first, but decided it would be a good way to celebrate his wife's life. When he got an unpleasant surprise from Viking River Cruises, he called the cruise company to let them know that he'd be traveling alone because of his wife's death. And despite not wanting to change rooms, dates, or even get a refund for Marilyn, he was informed that he would have to to pay an $853 rebooking fee, according to consumers. Viking considered the situation a rebooking because Marilyn's name was being removed from the reservation.
Wow.
Even if Ast found someone to take her place, he'd still have to pay the fee to change the name on the reservation. And if he didn't pay the fee, he would lose the entire $11,000 he and Marilyn paid for the trip. About the lowest point in your life, and they're trying to take advantage of it. Wow. What, right? Eventually, he told KDVR, eventually went to the news station for help, and the cruise company waived the fee. Consumerist notes that Viking isn't alone in the travel business with its tough rebooking policy. The Washington Post had a story about a similar case in 2015. The reasons are many, said the Post. Strict refunds rules ensure bigger profits, boost sales of travel insurance, and make a company seem fair to other customers asking for similar consideration.
No.
Fair my eye.
Yeah, right.
We're going to hose all of you. Isn't that fair?
Wow. No, this is despicable behavior. And I'm glad they got rid of that. But I've seen similar things. I was in New York City when my best friend was admitted into the ICU with a brain hemorrhage, and I needed to fly back to California right away to see him in the hospital. Everyone thought that he was going to die that night, and I wanted to see him before that happened. And I got hosed on my plane ticket, making that last-minute change to fly home.
Yeah,
and,
there's no emergency, there's no mercy fare, there's nothing. With that, it's the end of our show at 6:59. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5, going out to the Lead Summit CSUSB today.
You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best station in the nation.
I'm Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio. Stocks could be headed for a 3-day winning streak. Traders are still cheering a speech on Tuesday from Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen. She told the Economic Club of New York it was appropriate for policymakers to proceed cautiously, indicating the Fed would likely not raise interest rates again in the near future. Meantime, Chicago Fed President Charles Evans told CNBC he would be surprised if conditions were met for a rate hike in April. Payroll processor ADP says the private sector added 200,000 jobs in March. That's about what economists were expecting. Boeing could be ready to be doing some job cutting. The Seattle Times reports the company will be eliminating 4,000 jobs by early summer and is aiming for a 10% overall cut in Washington state. That's about 8,000 positions there. Chris Maurer, CNBC.
O'Reilly. The weather's getting warmer, and that means it's time to start working on your yard. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up a Super Start Lawn and Garden Battery starting at $21.99. Springtime means yard work, so stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts for a Super Start Lawn and Garden Battery you can count on. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, Bob, how's business? Is the new website helping?
Not good. I can't figure out how to get the website finished. How did you do it?
Easy. I called Web.com. They built my website for free. Then they promoted it on all the search engines.
Like Google, Yahoo, and Bing?
Exactly. And Web.com has helped grow my business so much, I had to bring on new staff.
Hey, if Web.com did it for you, they're perfect for me.
Call now, 1-800-535-8815. That's 1-800-535-8815. Again, 1-800-535-8815.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard. For this morning, we've got a chance of showers, partly sunny skies, a high near 62. Tonight, a chance of showers, partly cloudy skies, a low near 46. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 71. Thursday night, mostly clear, low near 49. Friday, sunny with a high near 77. Friday night, mostly clear, low near 52. Saturday, sunny with a high near 80. Saturday night, mostly clear, low near 52. Sunday, sunny with a high near 79. Sunday night, mostly clear, low near 52. Monday, sunny with a high near 80. Monday night, mostly clear, low near 53. Tuesday, mostly sunny and a high near 79. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
It's time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona, we have an accident. 2 lanes are blocked on the 91 eastbound after Main Street. This is a SIG alert, an injury crash as the carpool and left lanes blocked. Traffic is jammed from before the 71. In Chino, stop-and-go traffic on the 60 westbound between Ramona Avenue and the 57 Orange Freeway. The 10 west is slow and go from Etowanda to Haven. In Corona, stop-and-go traffic on the 91 westbound between McKinley Street and Green River Road. The 91 east is jammed from the 71 to the 15. The 71 south is busy between Pine Avenue and the 91. In Corona, a disabled vehicle, the center lane is blocked on the 91 westbound before Main Street. In Moreno Valley, stop-and-go traffic on the 215 northbound between Alessandro Boulevard and Blaine Street. The 60 west is busy between Kcaa and the 215. In Corona, slow traffic on the 15 northbound between Wyrick Road and Cahalco Road. In Norco, we have slow traffic on the 15 northbound between 6th Street and the 10. The 15 south is busy in patches between the 210 and the 60. And finally, in Paris, slow traffic on the 215 northbound between the Ramona Expressway and Harley Knox Boulevard. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
Here's the latest. I'm Tiffany Griffith. Donald Trump having to defend his Twitter war with Ted Cruz at last night's CNN town hall event in Wisconsin.
You're running for president of the United States.
Excuse me. I didn't start it.
Okay, I didn't start it. But, sir, with all due respect, that's the argument of a 5-year-old.
I didn't start it. No, it's not.
Trump is also defending his campaign manager who was arrested for allegedly manhandling a female reporter in Florida. Federal investigators are reviewing the contents of an iPhone belonging to one of the San Bernardino shooters after hacking into it, and that could make your device less secure.
ACLU national spokesperson Eliza Swearenbecker says Apple will likely have to remake security features on the iPhone after the FBI's hack.
When the government attempts to weaken security features, that undermine security and safety for everyone.
That's Randy Fuller reporting. And the Pentagon is ordering the families of hundreds of U.S. military members living in Turkey to leave. The State Department says the decision was made out of an abundance of caution after 2 bombings in Turkey this year. You're listening to the latest from 24/7 News.
This report has been brought to you by Unbound. At Unbound, they don't see poverty. They see potential. That's just one way. Unbound is different. Learn more at unbound.org.
Are you thirsty for books that will fill your soul with wisdom, joy, and inspiration? Then take a refreshing and nourishing drink at Alice's Quiet Mind Bookstore, located in the heart of the Agape International Spiritual Center in Culver City, which incidentally was recently featured on The Today Show. From aromatic soy candles to best-selling authors like Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith and a whole host of other visionaries, Alice's Quiet Mind Bookstore has everything to soothe your body, spirit, and soul. For more info and directions, visit agapelive.com today.
Looking for the latest news in the new Loma Linda University Medical Center? It's in the Loma Linda City News, along with more local news in a calendar section with what to do and where to go for fun. The Loma Linda City News, in print and online at lomalindacitynews.com.
KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station, where your business comes first.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Stephanie Miller Show.
Yeah, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. 6 minutes after the hour, 323-468-1135. Rick Overton says he came early and brought snacks, but did he?
Not after Fred got a hold of them.
Just because it's on videotape doesn't mean it's happening. All right.
Follow the fur, and you'll find Rick.
Emmy Award-winning comedian Rick Overton joins Emmy Award-winning voice deity Jim Ward. Rick, of course, is filling in for the newly Emmy-nominated Carlos Alzraqui.
Hey,
Check out our fancy family. What up with that?
Get that brass, buddy.
Oh, look, there's a new photo. There's someone being maced in the face at a Trump rally. I'm sure Trump will deny that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what that is. Could be water, you know.
Maybe
she could have been a helpful perfume spritzer. Would you like to try some?
Maybe she was orange to begin with. Trump is.
Okay. All right. Smeary Guy's back by popular demand. We aim to please.